Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2 of World Elite versus Orange, your first in a Beyond the Summit World Tour doubleheader. This is game number 2. Orange taking game 1. It was back and forth, Luby. World Elite definitely were not out of that one until the very end, but ultimately Orange. Too much initiation, the range, we talked about it. That Rubik, Blake Dagger, Forstaff, and Fissure, you really cannot hide from him, and well, in the end, it was too much. I am LD, of course, and joining me is Luminous, the man I just mentioned. Lumi, what do you expect to see in this game?
I expect some Rubik bans because that Mushi play, especially during the middle push, the way that he jumped into the base and pulled out GG, the Earthshaker player who had a Blink Dagger at that point, that could have made a big difference in terms of a powerful base defense, but nullifying him in the right get-go of the team fight, it was really rough for WE, and ultimately what snapped WE's back. So powerful play from Mushi right now to claim a game for his team. But for now, we're going into game number 2, and Templar Assassin banned again, so really respecting either Yamateh or Mushi, who's going to be playing the... I think I've seen Yamateh play a lot of TA back in the days, but not too sure who plays it now. Probably Mushi? No,
I want to say it's Mushi who's played it most recently. I can actually double check real quick. Let's see. It is Mushi. Mushi plays the TA along with Queen of Pain and Clake's, and well, he would play Lycan if he ever gets his hands on him. But Lycan being banned this game, that won't be the case. So for World Elite, Lumi, this time around they have first pick. Darkseer in the pool. Invoker as well, although they haven't really been favoring him a whole lot. Do you think they'll go with Naga again? I guess that's my question.
I think they do, right? Chinese team just keep picking Naga, no matter what. So, yeah, you have a Darkseer. I'll even put a gift wrap on top of that for you. I have not seen WE or Chinese teams play a lot of Darkseer. Perhaps it's because it's mostly banned up. But again, I mean, they have a lot of choices. It seems like they just want to play with Naga because they like that hero. I'm not sure whether Vlad's first is a great way to go, but they like the hero nonetheless.
Yeah, a lot of other great heroes, of course, are available. We've talked about a few. Chen's still in the pool. That's a big one, especially for Orange. If Extinct can get his hands on that Chen, it really opens up. I mean, because if you look at Orange, right, they like to play very aggressively with their sort of core heroes. We saw it with Mushi as well as Yamateh. Balls deep all game long, and then X available to bail them out with the Chen heals, the sends back to base. I mean, you couple that up with some very tanky item builds. We saw the BKB, as well as the Heart on Yamateh, and Mushi with a Bloodstone by the end of the game, which is pretty tanky for Rubik. I feel like that Chen really enables everything for them, and it is an Invoker off the bat for World Elite, so they leave the Chen in the pool. They also leave the Darkseer. This is a lot to give away. We would never see this in Western Dota. At least it's very rare. But in Eastern Dota, apparently, World Elite is okay with this.
Yeah, they're like, I mean, there's one way to look about it. It's like, you know what, we're practicing for the international WE. Well, not too sure the argument applies because they're not really in the actual, well, actually they are now, right? They are.
Well, there's rumors they're a backup team. There's rumors they're a backup team.
Right, so they sort of are, and I mean, I guess they're playing as if they are. But maybe they just want to play against Darkseer, or maybe they don't respect Darkseer's power. But it's a Darkseer, a Chaos Knight, a Broodmother that they're not really nodding their heads to. It's Invoker. They want the Invoker, and of course, immediate snap picks on the Darkseer and Leshrac.
And Leshrac.
Hey, yeah, that combo worked. So let's try it again.
Yeah, why not? If you're Orange for World Elite, they do get an Invoker. If they want to go for the Sunstrike build, Chen, no, they get themselves a Chen and a Chaos Knight. Well, I feel like this is better for them. They're not giving away the Chen plus the Leshrac Darkseer at the very least. Still, there's a Shadow Demon in the pool. And that's something that Orange could easily pick. Set up the Leshrac. Just give them so much great initiation. And we've also seen Shadow Demon as a very strong counter to Chaos Knight. Chaos Knight, a single target damage dealer and ganker. Disruption as well as Demonic Purge. Two of the best spells in the game for dealing with him, especially because he is a melee damage dealer. So he can be kited fairly easily if you get the Purge off on the main hero.
Yeah, but having Chen to back up your Chaos Knight is so different, you know, as opposed to him just being by himself. The sent back, the mech heal, it really will limit Chaos Knight's death, and as I spoke many times in the past, Chaos Knight is one of those heroes that doesn't need too many items. He works well with items, but as long as he doesn't get killed repeatedly, he is going to provide you that very stable damage. And as you talked about Shadow Demon being a powerful counter, not only does he counter and mess up the Chaos Knight's initiation, he also works very nicely with Leshrac and, of course, as a the Darkseer as well. Between Darkseer and Shadow Demon, you have many ways to allow your teammates to escape. So it is going to be rough for W to get a couple kills, especially when their kill attempts are based on heroes like Chaos Knight, who relies on that 4-second stun. 4-second stun, sure, will surge, will disrupt, and suddenly, or the other way around, you disrupt first and then you surge.
Right.
Like it doesn't matter, you're not going to get those kills. And wow,
yeah. So here we go with World Elite. Sankane the ban here. A bit concerned already about Orange's team fight, and I'm with them on that. Even though they have a Chen, it's also a great initiator to set everything up. The Darkseer, the Shrek. Not that Darkseer needs setup, but if he has it, he won't complain either. Nonetheless, and well, for World Elite, let's take a look at their lanes. They have a Chen. Obviously, he'll be in the jungle. Now, as we look towards the Chaos Knight, this is a hero unlikely to be soloing. There's nobody he can really take 1v1 on the Orange side. He will need a partner in crime for the lane. There are a lot of great choices, however. I think the most notable right now is Ancient Apparition. We saw World Elite run that last game as a solo, but it's still strong as a support, so we could see that picked up. Earthshaker as well. And these are some of the heroes that World Elite probably have their eyes on. With Invoker and Chaos Knight, you already have decent late game. I mean, it's not a Morphling, it's not anti-mage, it's still pretty strong. So I'm not sure they really need any more damage, any more carries. To me, they need a support for the Chaos Knight, and then maybe an off-lane hero, because right now, who are they going to send there? We've seen Invoker solo that suicide lane. I don't think it's something we're going to see from World Elite.
I mean, right now W has an option to go for a trailing push on the top lane as well with Chen offensive jungling. That's something that we don't see too often, but when played right, especially against the correct lineup, it can do a number, bring down that tier 1, put pressure on tier 2.
If you want to do that, who do you pick here?
If you want to do that and you have Chaos Knight as the active farmer in that lane, perhaps you want to go for a Crystal Maiden. Witch Doctor isn't bad for a little bit of tower diving and a little bit of immediate healing. Ventral Sphere is not bad. I think insert your support here will be fine as long as they have a stun. They are going to be okay. I mean, Chaos Knight is a great initiator in his own right. So if you want to go for something like even as crazy as Twin-Head Dragon with Liquid Fire, it's not bad either.
I actually like that a lot. The Twin-Headed Dragon.
So
I don't think
the question is. Right, we're not going to see it. The question is, what are they going to do that at all? Or are they going to do the grano, we're going to go push bot. We're going to farm bot with Chen wrapping around that tier 1 behind the ancient camp. That's something we're more likely seeing, but let's not count out the possibility of that for WE. I think what we're trying to say is they're in the driving seat, right? They're going to be in dominant position, or at least they should be for the first 5 minutes in the game.
Well, they do have, with the Chen and Chaos Knight, your laning stage is already very strong. And although it's an Invoker who, I want to say a couple months ago, you and I both sort of viewed Invoker as not the best laning hero. That's back when, this was back when Wex was the popular way to play him. And if that's the case, you have Cold Snap to work with. But EMP Tornado, not effective until the mid-game. But with Sunstrike, especially with the setup from Chaos Knight, perhaps Chen creeps as well. Suddenly, Invoker is a very, not the most dominant early game hero, but a very strong early game hero. And for World Elite, now I have to wonder, who's going to that off lane? I'm thinking Lone Druid if they don't do that offensive tri-lane. Well, if they want to, they have the option now. The Chaos Knight, a lot of reliable stun here for World Elite, setting up that Invoker Sunstrike. But we'll have to see. I mean, Lone Druid could farm the safe lane. That's an option for them as well. They could do that offensive pseudo tri-lane with the Chen. I like the way this is shaking out for World Elite. They're getting a lot of heroes they're comfortable with, heroes that fit in and have good synergy together. And they have burst damage. For World Elite, it's about getting those early towers, getting those early kills. Because in the mid-game, it is Orange who hold all the cards in terms of that big, scary team fight. The Darkseer, and, well, Lashraka is going to say, but now Earthshaker. Now they definitely have the team fight edge.
I'm not sure whether they hold all the cards, but they hold that one card, that vacuum. It's like, that card is...
It's 10 cards in one.
Yeah, that's the one that you have to watch out for. It is absolutely insane. And last time we saw it always getting at least 2 or 3 heroes, and suddenly everyone's out of position. It's rough. And, we talked about Chaos Knight's his laning presence. A lot of his laning presence comes in from his ability to initiate and kill. How are you going to kill people when there's disruption, shaker stun, and a surge? Like, every single lane, there is a way to get out. Not sure how much killing Chaos Knight is actually going to be doing.
It's not only that. It is that. I completely agree with that. Whoa, Weaver. We'll talk about this in just 1 second. But it's also, I mean, not only can they survive Lumi, but they can maybe kill you off. Edict is very scary to dive against. Ion Shell as well. If Darkseer ever gets the edge on you, you can't really run away from it. Maybe the Weaver can, but aside from that, I mean, our scary counter gank, scary survivability across the board for them in the early stages here. And I mean, they have a good lineup to get to the mid game, but World Elite, they're going to go all in on this early game aggression. It's a Weaver. Now, this is a hero probably going to be soloing this game. I'm not sure. I think we're going to see him on the safe lane. I think we will see that offensive tri-lane. He could go up top, but against Orange, they have a lot of setup for him, so I think he'll be better off going bottom. And if that's the case, he might be wow, this is interesting. I'm not sure how either team will land this one. They have their set of options, right? World Elite, match the offensive tri-lane, Weaver in the safe lane. They could do it in the reverse. For Orange, they could send Broodmother down bottom. It could be Darkseer there as well. It's going to be mind games for both teams, trying to get the right matchups.
I think you want to put the Shadow Demon Leshrac mid for sure, right? To shut down whoever you see. Perhaps you're going to see Avenge CK, and I think that lane favors the double 600 range of Dire. Shaker is going to be on defensive duty on whatever that side lane he chooses that he needs to set help to. But yeah, it's going to be somewhat difficult to call these lanes. I hope that the Radiant captain is calling it as better, a little bit better than we are, because I have no idea how they're going to lane this.
Well,
it's going to be.
I think it's legitimately mind games, though. I mean, to me, that's what it is. Like you don't know how your opponents are going to lane because they have their options. And in fact, we see Mushi headed mid off the bat with Ice. Is this a?
Is he going to go that solo mid Brood?
Maybe.
Man, solo mid Brood is really snazzy. I love it. It's somewhat difficult to gank, but solo mid Brood always gets a little bit worked out. It's going to be a solo mid. Because you always want to de-ward the mid lane anyways with sentry wards. Teams want to put wards down on the mid lane to see incoming ganks, access into jungle. So most teams are actually, they don't mind facing against the solo mid Brood because you could just, sentry, get a gank, counter ward, whatever he wants to do. We'll see how it works out for
this is
Broodmother. You can't really
chase.
Yeah, you can't chase that well on the mid lane with Brood because there's very little lane that you could, there's a little path. But what that means, you have great access into both jungles if you want, if that's what he's caring for.
Okay, you were trying to introduce the players. Let's go ahead and do that now. For Orange, we have Yamateh playing that Leshrac. We have X playing Earthshaker. Ice playing the Shadow Demon. Early pair of Observer Wards and Sentry Wards. Big gold investment for him into that early warding. Mushi going solo mid Brood. Like we said, unorthodox, but I could see it working in this game, and it will be winner in the off lane playing that Darkseer.
Meanwhile, that solo mid Brood is up against a Invoker who played the Earthshaker last game, so a little bit of support into a solo mid action for JJ. Back on the bot, we're going to see Lu playing the Chen. We have Chan playing the Vengeful Spirit. Chaos Knight going to be handled by FNTY, the carry player, and on top lane is going to be Icy on that Weaver. So you didn't expect this, but that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to do a little bit of solo top Weaver, which he's not going to die, but that doesn't mean he's winning the lane.
I'm not so sure. There's early Sentry Wards. It's a Shadow Demon with Disruption. Look at the harassment off the bat. Disruption into Fissure. This could be bad, Lumi. It's a very long cooldown on Sakuchi early on. Splitter to follow. Icy takes a quick spill there. And I mean, he did a lot of harassment, but the early Sentry Wards, great play by Orange. Had them maybe to deward the camp, maybe to in anticipation of Weaver going there. Whatever it was, they get the early kill. And that's bad news for the Weaver.
I think the key thing, excuse me, in that engagement was Shaker not showing himself. I bet you money that Weaver would have played totally different if he did see the Earthshaker. Earthshaker hiding in the woods because of his long stun range was able to follow up with that disruption. I thought the disruption personally came a little bit too late, but no, it was right on time and they got the first blood. And now suddenly Weaver in big trouble. Back in the mid lane here, JJ, despite having Exhort, it has to deal with the HP regen of that web as well as a poor man shield. So I think Mushi's completely fine against the physical harass. He's going to build up his Spiderling army, and either he wants to push the mid lane, he definitely can, or start farming in the jungle, which is a viable option as well.
Well, for Winter, we see exactly what we saw last game, Lumi. He's gonna head into his own jungle. He's not even gonna be bottom, and I feel like this is negating a lot of World Elites. In Game 1, I feel it was effective, and in Game 2 as well. We talked about how Darkseer, even as strong as he is in that solo position, wouldn't really stand a chance in the offlane. So what does he do? He just goes into the jungle, and I mean, you pick Vengeful Spirit, Chaos Knight, sure, they're great in the mid game, but a lot of the reason you pick these heroes is for those early game kills. Maybe we'll see a smoke gank towards the mid with the Chen, but as far as bottom lane goes, there's just no openings. You can't gank what's not there.
Well, I think the difference with what we see here this game and last game is that the killing power of WE's tri-lane is like insane. Like they can kill Darkseer under his tower no matter what. I feel like there's enough lockdown, especially depending what Chen creeps at, they can easily bring it down. Nice micro here by Mushi trying to deny a rune, but unfortunately a little bit of missed micro. I say nice micro and then he missed micro. But yeah, Darkseer's now in position. There's a decent war scoping out the Dark Troll Warlord coming in. And of course, Winter does see the Invis Room gets picked up as well. And we're going to see whether this dive is going to be effective. I don't think W care either way whether they are going to get the dive successfully or not. If they're not going to get the dive off, they're going to push tower, no problem.
Yeah, they want the tower, and well, Iron Show will help with that. It's not going to be a total solution. Well, actually, maybe it is. Slows down the push completely. I was saying the Chen creeps won't have too much trouble against it, but Lao just not enough yet. He's only level 3. Maybe this is where you have to come back at level 5. Oh, they smoke in the river. Sloppy play by World's Elite under a ward here, and this gank should be completely ineffective. Mushi and his webs. Anyway, this is a very hard gank, and I mean, it's the power of these two solo lanes. They're both very difficult to actually get kills on.
Of course, I mean, you have Cold Snap to help out, or access to Cold Snap, but right now, the two supports are not really doing too much for WE, and this is a time sink. They're not doing anything. That means Chen is not getting the levels. He should be pulling his team ahead in terms of EXP, but for now, there's really nothing of that. Mushi, though, is going to be getting a Ring Up Asadius. We don't see Ring Up Asadius too often. It might be upgraded to a full Vlad's. We generally see Soul Rings a little bit more, so the game of carry getting Vlad's is perhaps a repeat again.
Well, if they want to push, they have the Chen on their side this time. So that might work out a bit better in their favor. I mean, the Vlads with Chen creeps can be very effective. Still,
I'm talking about the
Broodmother
getting the Vlads. Yeah.
Whoops, sorry. I was thinking
maybe he just wants it for the +2 armor and mono regen, which we do see some players do go for. Very few players actually go for the full upgrade. On the top lane, though, Disruption. Do we have that Sentry Ward? There's a Sentry, and where's the block? Fissure. No, it's on the other way. Spliff is gonna hit, though, regardless. Lightning for the kill. Man, we don't see Lightning quite a bit, especially on a tri-lane Leshrac, but that worked out there. They got them to kill, and here comes the push. Let me just say, if there's no enemy hero, a level 1 Edict just as good compared to the level 2 Edict. It's still gonna kill towers.
I gotta say, this Weaver is just not having... Icy doesn't have a chance up top. As soon as he uses the Kuchi, Disruption is there to follow, and if he doesn't use it at the right time, he just dies anyway to the lockdown. There's no easy answers for him except just sitting back, getting experience but not farm, and Weaver needs that farm. A lot of burst damage for Orange, and look at Icy right now, level 3, 550 health, being completely zoned out. Well, whenever you see a lane just getting dominated like this, you look towards the trade-offs for the opposing team.
They're getting no trade-offs.
They're getting a lot of farm on Chaos Knight, and the Invokers as well, some decent farm, but they're not getting the towers, and when you say they're not really getting the trade-offs, that's the point to be made. No towers for them.
Icy taking a lot more stuns and harass on the top lane. The thing is, what do you expect out of this Weaver, right? And generally when we see Chinese team pick a Weaver, it's something of a Radiance Vanguard kind of build. I don't think he's actually going to make that Radiance Vanguard any good time, unless he just makes his team play 4v5 for the next 25 minutes or so. Yeah, I'm not happy with this Weaver. Not that he played it poorly,
right.
Just
it's the matchup. The matchup isn't working.
Yeah. Look at Mushi though in the mid lane. He's like, I'm playing on Radiant, no problem there.
Well, we're seeing this is where Broodmother shines. As soon as you leave the lane, she starts pushing, even if it's mid. Doesn't matter.
Here comes that Chaos Knight with the insane movement speed. He is going to see Shaker, but look at how fast they're moving back. Those early towers allow them to pick up that boost of speed, and let me tell you, if they didn't have the boost, they would be immediately dead. Meanwhile, we talked about Mushi pushing the mid lane. He got the tier 1 tower. So right now, WE is just losing so much ground, despite we're only 6 minutes in the game and 0-2.
And guess what happens? Guess what happens now? It's an opportunity for winner. Get some farm, get some levels. Bottom lane completely abandoned. Well, there goes your Chaos Knight, who had the free farm, no longer for him, and already it feels the noose is tightening here on the part of World's Elite. Invoker not gonna have a good time in terms of staying in this lane safely and farming. As here we go, rotation in. They weren't necessarily thinking about a kill, but if he sticks around, they might. Extinct maneuvering on the high ground. In comes the Chaos Knight as well. Chaos Knight roaming this early, not always the best thing to see. GG is level 7. Unfortunately, he doesn't really have the big items to show for it just yet. Only boots and a wand, maybe phase boots in the cards next. Normally we see that early 4-staff on this Exhort Invoker. And I think you need it this game. Up against Orange, good chasing power,
top lane,
and the Bird
FNTY in big trouble right now. Disruption Surge, and FNTY is going to take the full barrage of stun. He is going to go down. Weaver not in any position to get any kills because of that. Man, the lack of warding. Look at these aggressive wards on the Dire. And comparatively, Radiant has nothing. That's why they're suffering these pseudo-obvious ganks to the Observer, but of course they're playing completely dark in Nightfall, so that's rough for them.
Well, Orange, for the moment, they haven't gotten the tier 2 top, Bloomy, so that's something to be happy about if you're World Elite. You've held on to it this long, but how much longer can you stop the push? And actually, now that I talk about stopping the push, where is that anti-push going to come from? They have the bugs. Sakuchi is not really an option here. You can't run into these heroes when they have protection. Where's the anti-push for World Elite? Suddenly, it feels like they don't have any. And here we go again. Disruption. Fissure mistimed there, and that should be the Icy getting away. Just a bit too early on the combo, but they will keep him on the back foot.
Yeah, that was a pretty big mistake, I feel like. Considering that you don't really need a trap. Trap is great, but the lead stun is so important for Leshrac to hit his splitter, of course, his Edict and Lightning. But in any case, the kill was missed, and now JJ backing off. Even though they're not really successfully getting gank, they're not successfully ganking JJ, they're making sure that he's not getting any farm. And that sometimes is just as good. Instead of opting for the phase boots, he's going for the 4-star first. He realized that he needs to get as much mobility for his team as possible. That 4-star is going to be absolutely vital. Again, that's the right click and push. Bot lane, they're going to go for a couple more kills, and yeah, that's the Sunstrike that you've been mentioning.
Now back up the top, where Icy gets locked down. He gets picked off. Still, World Elite finally get on the board here. They get a kill in return, but they might lose a tier 2 for the trouble.
They're going to get a tier 1 nonetheless, and it's a very poor trade, but it's a trade. And you talked about it in the past. Whenever you're down, you want to go for trades. And this one is, again, not too favorable, but they're getting something, which is better than nothing.
Well, it's not only the tier 2 top, it's also mid starting to take some pressure. Where's the anti-push for World Elite? I asked it before, and then there was another big fight, so we didn't really have a chance to talk about it. But what do they do here to try and counter this push? They don't have spam.
You have Invoker adjusting for it in his skill build. He's getting a pointing to Wex, getting into the Meteor. Definitely Blast was cast on the Spider Lanes, but that's not a very spammable one, as it does have a 1-minute cooldown. Icy's gonna get backstabbed again.
Oh no!
And the question is, do we have the dust? I think yes, we do. There's a dust disruption. It's Weaver level 6. He can't time lapse out of it. The stun misses again. Where's the time lapse? Icy? No, it's on cooldown. He used it earlier, despite the fissure not hitting at all. That was all they needed. The Sakuchi was already used, and they got another free kill.
Bit of a panic move there. I think he expected that splitter to hit and tried to dodge it. Unfortunately, didn't have enough. Mid lane, Mushi, 4-second stun. He will take a fall, and in comes the rotation from Orange. Will they dive this one? 3 Radiant heroes all grouped up, but no bot on GG lurking on the high ground. They want Sean. They're gonna find him. Soul Catcher, stun, purge. He will drop down immediately, melt it off. And Orange just have so much room to maneuver now with these early 3 towers being knocked down.
I like how W keep playing on this. They're not giving up. Look at Weaver. No boost, just gonna get a bracer. Baby steps, baby steps. Gonna get HP. And of course, Invoker, after he finishes, he does have his 4-star finish, so it's not too bad. He's gonna work on his braces while Lu gets picked off. Oh, he's not dead yet, but let me tell you, he's gonna be dead right now. 3-man gank, Fissure locking him in, and a tornado ditch. Meanwhile, we have massive pings over the map. They said go push at tier 1. Fortunately, tier 1 very, very far off from getting pushed down, at least for the Radiant team. Mushi back to his territory. He's got treads. I have no idea what's going to be going for. Vlad's wouldn't be too bad, to be completely honest, considering that they're so far ahead of him.
And guess what? This entire time, Winter catching up in levels, catching up in farm. Up to 6. He's got a bunch of tower gold in the bank. Soul Ring, Ring of Health.
Mid lane?
Oh, mid lane. They get Brood again. Big pickoffs here. And it's a Vitality booster for Winter. Vanguard complete. Off-lane Darkseer, who was shut down pretty hard, even took a fall. So that gank from the Invoker and a couple of heroes. Still Orange, relentless pressure. 2 towers left, and they're looking to knock one of those off now. And FNTY trying to get in position to respond to this. I'm not sure he'll be able to, though. It's only 2-on-4. This is going to be real tough. They might try and defend anyway. Looks like they will for the moment.
Dire decides to back off. Even though Broodmother got ganked off in the mid lane, I feel like Orange Spirit is so strong and in such a commanding position that he commands those ganks. And if you don't gank him, he's going to push your tower. Lu leading the way in that charge. Lightning is going to be spammed down. Tornado going to get killed immediately. Yeah, back to the Brood point. Like, even though he got killed, he's forced a tier 3-man gank. So, in terms of number, Orange is still doing okay. Surge backwards here, and as FNTY getting a little bit fogged, Lu pulling a little bit ahead as well. Purge goes on Lu. Oh man, Lu in big trouble as well. There's a magic missile, another stun. Not going to be the best change. The nice defensive disruption. Hand of God comes in right now. Yamateh getting those stuns off. He is going to get a 2-man stun. Fissure on 2 as well. Echo on 2. Huge wipeout. FNTY trying to get run out. He is going to get picked off as well. They are going to get a kill on Instant Winter for their efforts, but 2 for nothing. 2 for 1. Not the best exchange.
Well, Mushi got that tier 2 during this time, and the relentless pressure continues. Lumi, I'm having nightmares about complexity versus eHome right now. It's a pretty relentless split push for Orange. 5 out of 6 towers down in the first 13 minutes, and they're not done yet. Mushi has breached high ground. This tower is down to half health. I don't think I'm emphasizing enough what a bad position they're in. Finally, the boulder drops. I think it's already at the point where I'm not sure when World Elite will be able to leave their base, outside of maybe a smoke anchor or two. 6 towers down, 13 minutes in. They're really doing a great job holding on here, but look at the gold lead, look at the experience graph. I really did not want to look at those, but I do. And it tells a scary story.
Yeah, man, like, right now there's no items because the lack of towers on WE, the lack of mech on Chen. Weaver has a bracer to his name, and that's it. A cloak now for a little bit extra survivability. Invoker is the only one that's actually getting anything, but I mean, what can he do? He's playing Exort Invoker. That means he is going to hit his prime a little bit sooner and can offer assistance to his team, but he can't be everywhere at once. And more importantly, he has to be in the mid lane. He's the only one that could defend against Brood, and he also is forced to help out. And when I say mid, now Brood has transitioned top. Like, he's forced to go everywhere. It looks like another gank against Brood. Magic Missile, nice, perfect chainstun. They are going to bring him down. Wow.
But here comes the backstab. Here we go. Yamateh in the front lines. X leading the way. Fissure going to hit on 2. Wicked sick for Yamateh. Purge as well. FNTY absolutely screwed. Doesn't even have a point yet in his ultimate. He'll take a fall. And well, they get the kill on the Brood, but an expensive kill at that.
On the bright side, they're not losing any more towers.
For the moment. For the moment, my friend.
Yeah, that Rax push might be coming very, very soon. Despite of that, W again holding on. They're not giving up. Look at Chen aggressively moving jungle, making sure he's getting. This is such an aggressive dive, but look at the mid lane now as we see. Oh, he does see it coming. JJ's gonna just port the hell out.
You know, you say it's aggressive, but we're 14 minutes in. He's not even farming where the tier 1 would be. He's sort of in between the tier 2 and the tier 1, and nonetheless, he has to TP out. I was woeing there because Earthshaker has a blink. 14 minutes in. It's the tower gold. Arcane Boots and blink up on Earthshaker. Darkseer as well with the Vanguard, the Soul Ring. Maybe something flight on the Courier. In fact, an early gem. I love this choice. Not only are you up against the Weaver, but this is going to give them some fantastic map control and make it even scarier for World Elite to leave their base.
I feel like it's the nail in the coffin. It's not a big team fight. It's not an Aegis, but it might as well be the nail in the coffin because without map control, W stand no chance. They're going to be playing it blind. The only ward they have left is that one up on the high plateau. That one's going to get quickly counter. Icy, by the way, still holding on to his 800 gold. What is stopping Orange from just going 5-man down the mid lane right now?
I'm not sure. I feel like they should at least be sieging with a few heroes. Maybe you don't fully commit. Try and apply that split pressure, which seems to be their method of choice here. Mushi on the bottom lane. Yamateh up top a little bit. Farm the enemy jungle. I mean, maybe they're waiting for things like the pipe, the mechanism, which they have right now. It's actually a completed Bloodstone of Yamateh. Whoa. 9 minutes in. Doesn't even have his split earth maxed out. And here we go. Down in the jungle. GG gets fissured up. Earthshaker caught out of no man's land. 2 seconds stun. Maybe able to blink out of here. Nope, the bug's onto him. But in comes the rotation. And this is actually a dangerous spot for World Elite. Even with 4, they will be doing some counter warding. Disruption to start. Split earth to follow. GG. Early 4 staff. Will it be enough? Vacuum back in. He'll go down. And now, Orange, maybe now they do go for that high ground. Invoker dead for 40 seconds. Already level 12. That might be enough. Does he have buyback? He does, and he may be forced to use it here.
He's definitely have to use it. Here comes Orange knocking on the high ground. And it's the lane that Broodmother's in, so there's going to be a good amount of webs for her to retreat to, as well as spiralings to be created. There you go, a couple of more. It's going to be focused on the tower. No buyback in Invoker, he says. We're going to just wait up. No, he does buyback right now. Chen creeps in position. Gets a stop off against Yamateh. Yamateh extremely tanky Sunstrike. No, a little bit of missed time, and Yamateh not going to take some period damage to his face. For now, tower stands.
Oh, split earth on all the creeps. They're all going to die. I think. Vacuum back in. Echo from X. Whoa! And they get a great initiation, but here comes the counter from Chan. Swapping in X and then stunning him up. He's going to live, though. Just too tanky. And now it's a 5-on-3 situation. It's looking pretty bad. And by the way, there wasn't even a wall use there. They don't even have a point in it yet.
They don't need the wall. Blink in from X, think it's all you need. Chan's gonna get picked up, by the way. Invoker got picked off in that engagement as well. You gotta remember, he just got a buyback. Yeah, W just got completely routed. And that's a very convincing victory from Orange. Soloman Brewmother as a thing. And Mushi showing that here in this game.
You know, Lumi, something I wanted to mention in the pregame, just forgot to mention it, is that both of these teams going into this match are 0-1 in the group, so it was a really important game for them. World Elite, unfortunately, they're going to drop down to 0-2. They have one more match coming up. Orange 1-1 now. If Orange win their second match, they should definitely be advancing. By the way, guys, if you haven't already checked out the tournament format yet for the playoffs, go do so. That information is available on facebook.com/BeyondTheSummitTV. The top 3 teams from each group will be advancing into a single elimination bracket. The teams that place the highest will actually not get started until the second round. The teams that are a little bit lower down will have to fight it out from that first round. But Lumi, like you said, it is a very convincing game. A very convincing win for Orange. They take this one in 18 minutes, and it was not an early GG by World Elite by any stretch of the imagination. Total dominance from the Orange side. Well, guys, that's going to do it for game number 1. We'll be coming back, or excuse me, for our first match of the day. Orange take this series 2-0. We'll be coming back soon. Well, actually, we have ourselves a bit of a delay. We'll be coming back in about an hour's time with our second best out of 3 for the day. So stay tuned for that one. That'll be Dara versus LGD, scheduled to kick off at 18 CEST. So if you want to check out some more East versus West, we'll have it for you soon. You're watching Beyond the Summits World Tour.